אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. Let us light these lights and see the way to joy, and let us say simcha. Let us light these lights and see the way to joy, and let us say simcha. Let us light these lights and see the way to love, and let us say ahava. Let us light these lights and see the way to love, and let us say ahava. Let us light these lights and see the way to peace, and let us say shalom. Let us light these lights and see the way to peace, and let us say shalom. נעשה שלום בעולם, נעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. אמרו שלום. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. נעשה שלום, נעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. נעשה שלום,
Good evening, and welcome to the Congregation for Humanistic Judaism's Memorial Closing Service. My name is Rochelle Green, and I will be leading tonight's service with Michelle Tamarkin. We welcome back Rehan Pasternak as song leader for today's memorial closing service. On piano is Igor Pasternak, and on shofar is Stephen Bauman. At the conclusion of our service, we ask that you please return the service booklets to the lobby as you enter. Please note where the exits are located in the event of an emergency. Silence your phones and let us begin. There are strains of music that evoke deep-rooted memories, historic memories from our collective past, personal memories of family and friends now gone, memories of a sweet or bittersweet childhood. The mournful melody draws us within ourselves and back in time. How can we draw solace and strength from our treasured memories? How do we find meaning in life in the face of inevitable death?
The spark of life burns brightly, and then the ineffable silence. No words can fill the void. There is no justice in death. So great is the pain, so unreasonable the emptiness, the dark despair.
Since time immemorial, in every culture, people have invented myths to dispel the darkness, myths of heaven, immortality, resurrection. But however we seek to explain it or make it palatable, death comes upon us unawares. We are not prepared to lose those whom we love.
When will I be myself again? Some Tuesday, perhaps, in the late afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea and a cookie. Or Wednesday, same time or later, you will stir from a nap and see him. You will pick up the phone to call him. You will hear his voice, unexpected advice, and maybe argue. And you will not be frightened, and you will not be sad, and you will not be alone. Not alone at all. And your tears will warm you, but not today, and not tomorrow, and not tomorrow's tomorrow, but someday. Some Tuesday late in the afternoon, sitting quietly with a cup of tea and a cookie, and you will be yourself again.
We each live with our memories. We cannot escape them. They grow to be part of us. Good memories comfort us with pleasant nostalgia. A word, a memory, a flavor or scent can evoke the warmth of family. Good times with friends, bright moments of joy. Bad memories assault us with ancient pain and long ago fears. Times when we were lonely or frightened can rise up to disturb us anew.
It is human to remember. Because we remember, we have culture. Because we remember, we have tradition. Because we remember, we are able to learn from the past and create a better future. The vocabulary of Jewish life is rich with remembrance. Holidays and festivals commemorate ancient events. The past is treasured as a precious legacy to be studied and understood, revered and celebrated. Yet this same cherished past includes centuries of persecution, tyranny, and destruction. HaShoah, the pivotal event of the 20th century, was so tragic in its dimensions, so enormous in its cruelty, that some would prefer to bury it beyond recollection. Some would even deny its reality. Today, when we would become at one with our past, we remember HaShoah, the Holocaust that engulfed 6 million of our people and millions of others in a conflagration unprecedented in history. Let us say together, we shall not forget, because we, the living, are all survivors of the Holocaust. We are heirs to the ultimate horror of HaShoah.
Neither shall we forget the unspeakable tragedies that continue to unfold, whether on distant shores or closer to home. We mourn the victims of COVID and other worldwide pandemics. We acknowledge the ravages of climate change and famine and the displacement of millions of refugees. We oppose racism in all its forms and dedicate ourselves to ensuring the value of all humankind. There is no adequate memorial for the dead. Indeed, memorials are more often for the living. They give us a chance to remember loved ones with unabashed tears, a time to recall a story, repeat a gesture, a time to reaffirm a love. Parents and peers, family and friends are forever joined to us by bonds of affection and shared experiences. The pain of separation never completely disappears, but neither does the fond memory of their lives. They are constantly with us, even when we do not think of them.
They are not dead who live in hearts they leave behind. In those whom they have blessed, they live a life again, and shall live through the years eternal life, and shall grow each day more beautiful, as time declares their good, forgets the rest, and proves their immortality.
Let us say together, the memory of those I loved in life and still love in death blesses my thoughts and my actions. The special grace of their years reaches out to touch my heart and give me hope.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in sorrow. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. The door whose life eternal.
day when we are flooded with unaccustomed and powerful emotions, let us honor the memory of our loved ones in the way most consistent with our beliefs and our hearts. Let us stand, if able, and together read our humanistic remembrance. Then those who wish to recite the mourner's Kaddish may do so. Those who taught us to laugh and to cry, we remember them. Those who held us and whom we held, we remember them. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, at the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, at the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, when we are lost and sick at heart, when we face decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we seek advice that does not come, when we are alone and afraid, when we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. Join us as we say, so long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us, as we remember them.
The traditional mourner's Kaddish, an ancient verse written in Aramaic, extols the greatness of God and the majesty of creation. Nonetheless, for many people, the mournful chant evokes thoughts of loved ones who wish to be remembered and honored in this way. Please continue to stand while those who wish to recite the Kaddish do so now, led by Ina Philip.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra kirute, v'yamlich machute, v'chayechan uv'chomechan uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rab amvora li'alam alalmei alaya. Yitbarach, v'yishavach, v'yishma'ar, v'yishmaman, v'yisnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithalel, v'yithalal, shemei dekudisha, v'richu. Le'ila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'al v'imru, amen. Yehei shlomo rama ben Shemaya, v'chayim aleinu bi'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei Shalom, B'Ramav, Uyaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael, V'Imru, Amen.
It is tradition to remember those in our congregation who have passed away since the last high holidays. I feel safe in saying that just about everyone in this room knew and loved Ellie Schaefer. For more than 50 years, Ellie has always been there for CHJ, the first to volunteer when a task needed doing, whether it be restarting our educational programs, coordinating a baby naming, or making mountains of just right matzo balls for the many Passover Seders she led. Ellie has held just about every position available at CHJ and did them all well. She served as CHJ president and was a long-term board member, a reliable voice of reason when meetings became contentious. As leader of the Yom Kippur breakfast for many years, she raised the standards to Michelin guide levels with delicious salads and delectable pastries. As an avid member of the book club, she was appreciated for her keen insights and book recommendations, and the play readings she hosted as a year-end tradition. Ellie held a special place in her heart for families wishing to give their child a bar or bat mitzvah. Over the years, she has mentored countless mitzvah candidates, counseled their parents, and led their ceremonies. In 2019, CHJ honored Ellie and her husband David with the Mishlachite Award for their significant and valued contributions. Only the third time in 50-plus years the award has been presented. Ellie was warm, empathic, and wise with a keen sense of humor. We miss her dearly.
Suzanne Friedman. Today we remember Suzanne Friedman. Today we mourn the loss of longtime member Suzanne Friedman. Suzanne was born in Berlin, Germany, and emigrated to the United States at the age of 3 with her parents and older sister. She was a cheerful child, earning the nickname Happy, which friends and family continued to use throughout her life. Suzanne was among the first graduates of Rutgers nursing programs, and she followed a path of providing care for the ill and elderly. In 1980, she became director of the Visiting Homemaker Service of Fairfield County, continuing her community work past the age of 80. Suzanne and her husband Irwin joined CHJ in 1972. For more than 50 years, they maintained close friendships with many members, enjoying theater, book groups, discussion groups, and Jewish holidays. Suzanne sat on the board of directors for many years, serving as secretary of CHJ. She is remembered as a kind, gentle, and compassionate person, a good listener who gave sound advice. Learning that a CHJ family was in need of housing, she promptly invited them to stay at her home. In her later years, Suzanne developed dementia, and her loving son, Michael, cared for her in their Weston home. Despite her illness, she remained a bright presence in our lives, and friends and family will miss her deeply.
We also note the passing of Rosalie Kay, who joined CHJ in its second year, a time when every member was expected to take on a significant role. Her husband, Stephen, served as CHJ president for a few years, and Rosalie worked alongside him to help shape the fledgling organization. A Duke University graduate with wide-ranging interests, Rosalie later immersed herself in community groups offering social, cultural, and educational opportunities, including the Westport Women's Club and the Wise Women. Rosalie was also a patron of the arts and volunteered at the Westport Country Playhouse. She particularly relished the Metropolitan Opera shows at the Quick Center, where she often ran into old CHJ friends.
Today, we also remember Timothy Walker, beloved husband of CHJ member Betty Walker for almost 50 years. Together, they shared a love of travel, music, friendships, their children, and their constant canine companions. Tim was a man of many talents, a civil engineer, an expert large tree pruner, a volunteer firefighter, a ham radio operator assisting in disaster relief. A Westport resident since 1988, he served on the town's flood and erosion and conservation commissions. Tim was also an avid sailor, a lifelong Red Sox fan, and a regular at CHJ's holiday services.
Finally, we sadly report the passing of former member Wanda Friedman at age 68, following a courageous battle with brain cancer. She leaves a legacy of warmth, kindness, and passion, and a deep appreciation for nature, shared by her husband Ed and their 3 children. Summers for the family featured week-long camping trips that took them throughout New England and beyond. Wanda had a special relationship with birds, sharing her home with 2 cherished companions, a 25-year-old Amazon parrot, and a 20-year-old cockatoo. She was known to take them for walks in a baby stroller outfitted with bird cages, delighting neighborhood children who loved chatting with the birds that eagerly talked back. She will be missed. We now invite those who have lost a loved one in the past year to come forward and light a yahrzeit candle. We now light a memorial candle for all who lost their lives so others might live in freedom and peace.
There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us as we live our days
It is our practice at this point in the service to read aloud the remembrances of members who wish to honor the memory of those dear to them. Sheila Felsen honors the memory of her beloved husband, Marvin Felsen, and her parents, Lily and Sam Blumenfeld, and Marvin's parents, Morris and Helen Felsen. Linda Lugwood remembers her brother, Gerald Michelin. Fred Urey wishes to remember his wife, Debbie Urey, and his parents, Perry and Lorraine Urey. This Yom Kippur, Phil Garrison would like to remember his parents, Harold and Marjorie Garrison, and his uncle, Harry Garrison. Donna Rogg remembers her parents, Shirley and Jack Rogg. George Rockmore remembers his parents, Hildy and Irving Rockmore, as well as his dear friend, Izzy Gazelle. Donna Succi wishes to remember her parents, Donald and Josephine Susi. Eileen Ginsberg honors the memory of her husband, Bob Ginsberg, who is also a father and a father-in-law and a grandfather of many CHJ members. Bob was active in CHJ for many years. Alex Mack remembers her parents, Theodore and Ellen Mack. Ina Phillip remembers her parents, Samuel and Sylvia Nadell, and her in-laws, Emile, Rose, and John Phillip. Marilyn Brownstein, along with everyone at CHJ, mourns the death of her dear friend Ellie Schaefer, with whom she shared a birthday and many happy occasions. Marilyn also mourns the loss of her beloved husband of 59 years, Sam Brownstein, and her dear sister, Flora Freilicher Warstad.
Clinton remembers her parents, Ruth and Albert Youngman. Stephen Getz and Linda Russell honor the memory of Steve's mother, Marilyn Getz, and Linda's sister, Suzanne Culver. Debbie Silberstein remembers her wonderful parents, Thelma and Dr. Joseph Silberstein, whom she misses every day. Jessica Wolf honors the memory of her parents, Anne Nissenbaum Wolf and Saul Wolf. Ruth Light remembers her cousin, Robert Paul Wolf, who died this year. She also remembers her grandmother, Ella Wolf, her mother, Rosabelle Wolf Lewert, her father, Enoch Lewert, her sister, Judith Lewert, her cousins, Cora Wolf Alter and Roger Michael Antonio Wolf, and her dear CHJ friends, Gert Albaum, Libby Miller, and Ellie Schaefer. Barbara J. remembers her husband, Saul Hafner, her parents, Faye and Martin Selman, and her friends, Lucy Katz and Gail Ostrow. Mitch and Carol Tilken honor the memory of Mitch's parents, Jeanette and Ben Tilken, and her sister, Nancy Blotner, as well as the memory of Carol's parents, Rose and Meyer Goldstein, and Carol's brothers, Arthur and David Goldstein. Myrna and Mike Retzky wish to remember their parents, Eugene and Olga Marks, and Meyer and Helen Retzky, respectively. Rona Robin honors the memory of her parents, Ruth and Stanley Robin. Dave Schaefer remembers Ellie Schaefer, his beloved wife of 60 years. Ellie greatly valued her active years with the congregation. She served in many roles and lived her values to an exceptional degree. Her like will not be seen again. Stephanie Ross wishes to remember her husband, Stuart Ross, her parents, Rose and David Banks, her brother-in-law, Michael Ross, and her in-laws, Ruth and Ben Ross.
Let us now say together, may our grief for loved ones who are no longer with us lead us to an expansion of our compassion for all of life and of our passion for wonder in our relationships. May we pursue peace among the living. May we find inner peace, shalom, in the acceptance of our loss, cherishing the memories of companionship which shall endure. May this community be a source of sustenance and support to all who mourn.
The day is fading. Soon it will be dark. The silence and peace of night will descend upon the earth, and the tranquility of night will yield to the vitality of day, a new day in a new year. As these hours of reflection and introspection draw to a close, we will return to the tasks and problems, the challenges and the joys of life. None of us can know our destiny. Will the year bring health or illness, peace or war, success or failure? Our future is a secret that only time will disclose. Many of the forces that determine our lives are beyond our control.
Yet much of who we are and what we do is ultimately in our own hands. We have the freedom and the responsibility to make our own choices in life and to find our own meaning. Philosopher and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl tells us, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's way. We can allow ourselves to be buffeted by circumstance and abdicate the responsibility for living. Or we can pursue the adventure of personal fulfillment and with all the inner resources at our command.
In this new year, we have the opportunity to begin anew. What does it take for us to grasp it? When Rebbe Nachman, the famed 18th century chassid, was approached by a young man complaining how hard it was to change his ways, the Rebbe asked, "But do you really want to want?" Let us want, to embrace our truest selves, to embrace community, to embrace life and all its risks and uncertainties. How often are we given the opportunity for self-renewal and ignore it?
Sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, I get a glimpse of my life. In a flash, in a moment, over there, I see it clearly. Quickly then, I make a shopping list or rent a video. Quickly, I look away. Merle Fell.
Yom Kippur is not for looking away. It is for looking inward, for looking at ourselves intensely and acknowledging the most profound truths of our lives. As humanists, we know that it is up to us to check the recesses of our hearts, to know the true way of moral action by which to judge what we find there, and to act on our own determination without desire for reward or fear of retribution from a supreme being.
This is what we ask of ourselves, to act justly and compassionately, and to walk proudly with one another. Cultivate these qualities in yourself, and they will become real. Cultivate them in your family, and they will abound. Cultivate them in your community, and they will grow.
Cultivate them throughout the world, and we will make strides towards world peace. As the Universalist hymn says, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me." Our tradition encourages us to change. Indeed, it demands that we strive for our truest selves. In Deuteronomy, we are told, "I have put before you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life."
Take heed. Choose life. Begin anew. It is time to embrace change. Change, whether in our families, our workplaces, our communities, our environment, our nation, our world, must begin with ourselves. Let us say together, We shall not shrink from the task because it seems daunting. It is daunting. We shall not shrink from the task because we fear failure. We may fail. Success is uncertain, but we must begin.
If I could speak the thin, clear vein of thought that is all entwined in webbing, left from a long lack of honesty, I would speak now before the sun goes down. If I could cry the lakes of tears to feed the thirsty nations, warring when the world is ripe for working, I would cry now before the sun goes down. If I could grow 1,000 arms to wind beneath the earth and find 1,000 arms to hold dignity, I would grow now before the sun goes down. If I could climb a cliff and echo love inside the chasm where bullets echo back at me, I would climb now before the sun goes down. If I could know of courage, the child born from hearing one's own sound and knowing it to be true, I would know courage now before the sun goes down. Fashion Shur.
In the days and weeks ahead, let us strive to live fully and well. Let us not forsake the insights we have struggled to gain during these days of reflection. Soon the shofar's call will mark the passing of the old year, and we will prepare to greet the year to come. Let us be grateful as we break our Yom Kippur fast to all those who have helped bring food and drink to our table. We vow to respond to those, in turn, to those in need.
We celebrate the fruit of the vine and the bounty of nature as we lift this cup. Wine is a symbol of the wholeness of life, reminding us that life is both joy and sorrow. We accept them both, and so all that life offers.
We celebrate nature, source of all nourishment, which brings forth bread from the earth. May we protect the bountiful earth that it may continue to nurture us. And let us seek fulfillment for all who dwell in the world. In the year to come, may we find strength and serenity, the joy of fulfillment, and the sweetness of love. And let us say together, may our hearts be open with generosity and our hands ready with kindness. May the day soon come when all humanity walks as one.
Tekiah, Shevarim, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah.
Lashana Tova, may we look forward to a year of goodness, joy, health, and sustenance. For all people of goodwill, we wish happiness and peace. Lashana Tova. As this Yom Kippur day draws to a close, we'd like to sing a song written by John Franklin, one of the founders of our congregation. It's called Another Year Begins. We'll follow it with Havinu Shalom Aleichem.
We've come this far. Let's take someone else's hand and do everything we can to make the most of who we are. Another year begins, and since we've come this far, let's take someone else's hand and do everything we can to make most of who we are. And let it be peace.
This concludes our high holiday observances. We wish you health, happiness, and peace in the year to come. L'Shana Tova.
Put on Zoom tomorrow night, Saturday night, her studio.